Hey guys, Kirk from Forever Homestead. So it is Monday, what's today? June 10th. This week we are moving up. We're going to work on the second floor loft system. So follow along. Yeah, so to start this week off, today's Monday. I forgot to order the materials that I need this week. Like I say, general contractor hat, it's hard to wear sometimes. So that stuff's coming tomorrow morning. But that's okay, because I've got a few little projects that need to be finished up. I've got to go around and get the top plates on all the interior walls and kind of tie them into the exterior walls. And then I have some 6x10 Douglas fir down in the basement. I need to somehow get them up onto the first floor here. Do a little bit of tweaking to them. Just got to make them fit on the top wall. And then we have to lag bolt them, or use threaded rod and secure them to the top frame, especially on the back where I'm going to be working. So hopefully I can get all that done today. And then tomorrow, when the material shows up, I'll be good to go starting the joists and stuff. So today's mission, I have 4 of these Douglas fir. They're 6x10 and they're a little over 8 feet long. So they got to be cut down to 8 feet-ish. I have to check the plans, but and then they stand on their end, so 10 inches tall, 6 inches wide. And they get mounted into the 4 corners. So they go 5 feet into the house and 3 feet out of the house, and they're on all sides. I have to get the back 2 on today because they are underneath the second floor that has to go on. So they have to be on before I can start on the second floor. So I have to get them, because they're 6 inches wide and the top plate of the house is only 5.5 inches because of the dimensional lumber. I have to cut 1/2 inch off of the 5 feet section that's going into the house, or the other option is to leave it on so it extends to the outside of the house, and then I can keep that piece of the beam exposed on the outside. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet, whether it's best to hide it in the wall or see it from the outside. So basically whatever I end up doing, I still have to start by cleaning it, cutting it to length, and then I'll take a belt sander to it. So that's step 1.
One last ticket before it's gone. One last summer before it's fall. Tune your strings and play your cards. Little words hit me like a game of darts. And you're beating on my drum, and you're beating on my door, running faster than my dream.
Man, you want triceps of steel, become a timber framer. Or at least use a pull saw. So it did a pretty good job. The knots that are in it caused a little bit of problems. Not so much here, but on the other side, there's a knot on both sides there, so it started to wander in just a little bit. But I think I'll just hit it with a block planer, and then that'll clean all that up. But for the most part, looks pretty good. So I need to flip it now. On the cut sheet that I have, it shows me where to drill the holes. But before I drill them, I'm going to compare that to my actual wall up there, just to make sure, you know, they don't, when they made those up, they don't know where I'm putting my studs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to kind of make sure that where I'm drilling the hole isn't going to actually land on a stud over there. There we go. So we've got about a 1.5 inch hole with a hole saw, and then the 5/8 goes the rest of the way down. So we've got a piece of threaded pipe there, and then on the top you have a place for your washer and your nut to be countersunk underneath the top of the beam. So just finish up the other one, and then we should be good to, we'll set it up on top of the plate that it's going to go on, and we'll use the beam itself as the guide to drill the plate up there. So everything should be lined up perfectly. Should be. Well, we've got the header in, or the purlin in. It's bolted in 2 spots. Just gonna put a couple nails in the end of it to hold it into that wall. Still have to do the one on the other side, but I think while I'm all set up over here, I'm gonna start putting the rim board on. So I have 2 16-footers, one on each side, and then I can run my first floor joist over. And then where it crosses that beam, I've got to put a plate underneath it, a 3/4 inch plate. So I just want to get one over there and level it up and make sure that 3/4 of an inch is what I need it to be, and then I'll go source out what I have, some plywood or something like that. Yeah. I think I should probably throw a coat of sealer on this first. Oil does sure does bring out the grain and darken it. Once that dries, it lightens just a little bit, but sure does look good. Love the look of that. So I've got the bolts in there, both places, tied in underneath. I've nailed it to this wall, and now I've just marked the outside edge of this wall. So now I can run my 16-foot rim board along there and along here, and then I can lay out. It's going to be a little bit more than 16 feet. I think it's about 20 some feet to that wall right there, and that's where the stairs go. But it goes over to that beam there, and then it goes out another 3 feet and then over. But I think this side is just over 20 some feet, so we'll have to add a piece to the end of it. And then the same thing here, the 16-footer is going to go out there. It's actually a 25-foot wall, so we'll have to add a piece to the end. But it kind of works out because I can do all of this part in here, the rest today and in tomorrow, and then I can move all my scaffolding and stuff over there. And when I move my scaffolding in front of this big beam here, I can I'll give all that a coat of oil as well. The tops and stuff of this, even though I oiled it, within a day or so, it's not going to actually be exposed from here over. It's not going to be exposed to the sun anymore, but it will. I mean, most of the wood is drying from the end. That's why the end grain sealer is so much thicker. But then this will also help slow the drying process. But from here out, we'll be exposed to the weather. Once the ridge beam on and the roof is on, the rafters come down over top of this piece, so it won't be exposed to sunlight much anymore, but it'll still get wind and snow and rain and stuff like that on it. I still have to get a ladder up underneath and coat the bottom of it, but I can do all of that all at the same time. So let's see if I can get this big hunk of 16-foot up here. Well, it's been a long, hot day here on the homestead. Bring you into the back bedroom here. So I have finished that purlin, and then I have the, I don't know, three-quarters of the 1/2 done, about 1/3 of the overall house, the loft done. So I have it up to the walk-in bedroom there, or the walk-in closet, and they go over halfway. I put 3/4 of an inch of plywood on the. I put 3/4 of an inch of plywood on top of that beam there, and then the rafters the joists sit on top of those, and that allows me to put our finished ceiling, whatever we're going to finish it with, up above, between the beam and the joist. A little bit slow going, trying to figure out the process, getting things down, getting measurements. When working around where the post is going to be up there, because the frame's not completely up, I need to leave the right amount of space for the post to sit inside of that pocket. So, I'm reading blueprints and all that kind of stuff. But tomorrow, as long as it doesn't rain, they're kind of calling for it, and I want to shake my finger at rain, but we really could use it. It's been really dry, so when we're trying to get some trees going and stuff like that, so could use a little bit of rain. But depending on what tomorrow is, I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll get the purlin cut to length and trimmed up and put in place, and then I can do the rafters on that side. It's a little bit of a rush at this point to get I keep calling them rafters. It's a little bit of a rush at this point to get the joists up and screwed together, and then get the floor on it before they all start to twist and all that kind of stuff. I hate leaving lumber sitting in piles like the stuff there. When it's banded together, it's held a little bit tighter, it's better, but even that, I want to get it all up as fast as I can, so then I'm not on top of struggling with the slow pace of doing it on your own sometimes. I don't want to struggle with the twisted wood and trying to get the tongue into the groove and all that. So hopefully we're kind of on track. Tomorrow's rain might put me a day behind, but it's only Tuesday today, so we'll see how it goes. Well, it's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday today. They're calling for some pretty big thunderstorms and rain today, and we really need the rain, so I'm not going to complain. In fact, I think I'm going to take today and use it to I think I'm actually just going to take today and clean up the barn. It's getting a little bit crazy in here. I'm having troubles finding anything, any tools, anything fun. Once I get a little bit cleaned up, I might actually do a brew day today and make up another batch of beer as well. Can't always be outside, I guess. So, see you tomorrow. It's Friday today. I haven't checked in a couple of days. What was that? Wednesday was just rainy all day. So I worked in the garage, or in the barn. And then yesterday, just continued on with the floor, or the floor joists, I guess. So I've got almost halfway into the, what's this thing? Halfway into the closet. I just have to go over to that edge right there. And on this side, about the same. This one goes a little bit further. This one goes out to the edge of that beam, so almost by that 2x4 there. So I've got like 10 more joists to put up, and I have to frame around the stairs here, which the blueprints are a little bit confusing, so I'm gonna have to spend some time with them today and figure out what's going on here. But I will I'll check back in once I get a little bit more done. All right, so it is end of day Friday. What are we, June 12th or 13th, something like that. So I've got pretty much the floor, all the joists in. I just have to do, so this is the end of the loft here, and there's a joist, actually a double joist, that go from that end one there over to this one, to this one. This one here actually just kind of floats free until that beam's in there, and then we'll attach it to that beam. But there's a double header going in there between the stairs, because the stairs go down that way, and that double header helps secure the stairs. So I still have to cut that piece, but it requires more brain space than I actually have at this point. So I'm going to hold off on that and probably throw it in tomorrow morning. But yeah, so that's the, it's nice and level. I really struggle. I really had a hard go of it around these beams. It's hard to see here. One second. So around this beam and that beam up above, you kind of frame it in with the joists. But it's difficult without the beam actually being in there. So this is one of the examples of, it would have been nice to have the entire frame up first before the second floor went on, but just because of time restraints, I had to kind of work around not having my timbers yet. So I left about a 1/2 inch gap all the way around it. So if there's any play or any variance in the beam that's going up there, I'll still be able to fit it in there, and then we can shim it, and then from underneath I can fasten the 2x10s to the beam. So I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. But yeah, it's they overhang the beam on both sides by about 1 foot, which is good, nice, secure, nice and tight. But overall it went pretty well. I did have the rain day, but my goal was to actually have the sheeting on by today, and even if I had one day more in this project, I don't think all that sheeting would be on. I have 37 sheets of it there to go on. But I'll have to carry them up to the first floor here, and then I'll come up with some kind of a system that I can, hand bomb them up to the second floor there, 4 or 5 sheets at a time. So that'll be next week. I'll get all the plywood on, and finish up the bridging for to keep the 2x10s from twisting. But there'll be more about that next week. Until then, have a good one. And I am going to crack open this nice ice cold beer on a Friday. Cheers.